is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Wednesday, 14th February 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. Commissioner of Police earlier here with Christopher says the Trinidad Tobago Police Service, its officers, as well as key partners in national security, have ensured a safe Carnival 2024 without any major incidents. Commissioner Christopher made the announcement Tuesday following the annual Carnival walkabout in downtown and uptown Port of Spain, where she commended officers for staying true to their oaths of office. The commissioner addressed the media and provided a status operations within the past 24 hours. Meantime, the TTPS, with the support of the TT Defense Force, the Trinidad Tobago Municipal Police, and the TT Fire Services, Transit Police, and Parliament Police Unit, and various key partners, provided logistical support and security to over 200 events throughout the Carnival season and continued until midnight, just after midnight last night. A special reserve police officer who allegedly beat his wife and attempted to handcuff her on Carnival Monday was arrested. The officer is attached to the Valencia police post. He was detained by his colleagues at the Manzanilla police post. The alleged incident occurred when the officer started to interact with his wife on Monday morning. The 46-year-old SRP returned to his Plum Road Manzanilla home at 11:30 a.m. and argued with his 30-year-old wife over the whereabouts of their children. The argument escalated as the SRP allegedly handcuffed his wife several times and beat her on the face, head, and other parts of the body. He then allegedly attempted to detain her by putting the pair of handcuffs on her left hand. The wife called the police on her cell phone, and officers of the Manzanilla police post responded. PC Douglas and other officers identified them to the SRP and told them a report was made against him. The SRP was cautioned and detained and taken to the police post pending further investigations. In some sad news, woman police constable Atalia Campbell died in a car accident. TTPS initial reports indicate after performing her duties from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon, while driving her personal vehicle around 5 p.m. along the Sir Solomon Hochoy Highway near the Charles Street turnoff, WPC Campbell allegedly lost control and collided with a light pole. She sustained fatal injuries. Upon hearing the news, DCP Simon, Senior Superintendent Sudin, and ASP Barrett visited the accident. The TTPS was committed to providing all the necessary support to Campbell's family during this time of grief. St. Margaret's police are currently conducting inquiries into the matter. She is said to have served the country for 12 years and was last attached to the police academy. The 2024 Road March race remains wide open with fierce competition from the two contenders on Carnival Monday and Tuesday at many venues throughout TNT. Young Michael Tasia, runaway hit DNA, faced stiff competition from Bungee Gardens' Carnival contract as the race for the coveted Road March crown tightened between the two performers. Music trucks seem to focus on two Road March contenders, Ian Alvarez's contract and Tasia's DNA, with several bands paraded to throughout the many venues. In the morning, Carnival contract seemed to have picked up pace, but DNA continued its hot onslaught into the afternoon. Tuca will announce the results later on this afternoon on Ash Wednesday. More than a dozen people collapsed due to heat-related issues at the Queen's Park Savannah on Carnival Tuesday as temperatures reached a scorching 33 degrees Celsius. According to a doctor stationed at the medic room at the grandstand until 2 p.m., he had to attend to 14 people, the majority of whom had shown dehydration and symptoms related to heat issues. In many cases, doctors were able to orally administer rehydration salts, and in some cases, the patients were rehydrated using intravenous methods. The doctor said none of the cases were considered to be serious or life-threatening. Using satellite data, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency TEMA has detected the possible oil and hydrocarbon spill reaching the northwest and west of Tobago, originating from the overturned vessel in the cove. TEMA said the satellite data captured on Sunday, February 12th, revealed a silver-like slick emanating from the wrecked vessel, accompanied by streaks of thick black-like substance. The agency continued. The anomaly measured 48 nautical miles, approximately 88 kilometers in length, and 0.13 nautical miles, approximately 248 meters in width. The spill extends from west to the north into the Caribbean Sea, with noticeable oil weathering beginning around 9.71 nautical miles from the source. Over the past few days, at the time of the satellite data on Sunday, winds measured 16 knots from the east, guiding the potential drift path oil slick. TEMA said the high confidence level is attributed to the known suspect point source. There have been no indications of the oil entering the western and northern coasts of Tobago, and Grenada's Disaster Management Agency said the spill does not threaten their coastlines based on the latest satellite data. Meantime, a hazardous seas alert is in effect. The Met Office says the yellow alert will come to an end at 10 a.m. on February 16th. It was issued at 3:40 p.m. on Tuesday. Northerly long spell periods persist, maintaining hazardous conditions over the northern and northeastern exposed coastlines of both Trinidad and Tobago. And that is news to the hour right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. It is 7 minutes after the hour of a gorgeous 6 o'clock on this love day, 14th day of February, Ash Wednesday. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, full casting this morning. We just heard from the man who saved the TTT, Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen, who up till late last night was still in Port of Spain. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh. Yeah, he was everywhere. Ruben and Shane, my name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning. All right? 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 26 at Crown Point in Tobago. I got nothing really traffic-wise to tell you about. Nothing. Just a little volume, but that's about it. All right? So good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's happening?
Morning, Steve Khan, and good morning, Wendell Stephen.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. I didn't realize I was on. Sorry. I was actually watching. Am I being heard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was actually watching the news on YouTube from the TV here and realized that it didn't sync. So that's why I didn't know I was on. Anyway, good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. And good morning, listeners and viewers. You said I didn't. You said up to late last. I haven't left Port of Spain yet, actually.
Oh, really?
You see, I'm doing this thing from my phone in my office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, these business models that I have that just demands my attention, Lord, especially on Carnival time. Why did I get involved in it? I don't even know.
To make a dollar. Good morning, Oliver Man Warren, Wendy and James, DJ Ray out in Tampa, Slick Money Grip, Gloria Gray, good morning. And good morning to Gloria Gray saying good morning to her husband, Andrew Sedeno. Okay. God Celia, Rena Budu Jennings, Ray. Good morning to you, Marcia Rock, Brennan Smith, Beefy Smith out in Tobago, just came back from his walk. Chris Toussay, Washington, D.C., Dennis Prasad, CJ. Is it snowing by you, CJ? Nasa Mohammed, Guy Small, Boy Bedesi, Josie Richardson, Chris Toussay. Good morning to you all. Will I have any on WhatsApp? Let me just check. Yep, Dan Raj, Michael, good morning. Sankofa, good morning to you. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for sending us a message. It is Ash Wednesday. Carnival, Christmas came and gone. Carnival came and is now gone.
Yep. And of course, it's that day that people discover love and they give gifts and chocolates and carry people to dinners and lunches and all those things that Lord knows I did back then. I have to admit. I also did it. I'm guilty. I don't do it anymore. Thank God. But happy birthday to my niece, Ishana Stephen. Marlon Herrera, Curtis Shade, Graham Cook, Joanne De Leon Richards, Viola Hope, and Jeremy Williams. Happy birthday. They are all celebrated birthdays today. Right, so I would imagine they would have the challenges of that double gift coming right after Christmas, a Valentine's Day gift or a birthday gift, Some people do it,
Yesterday was the birthday of Shiraz Khan. We haven't had him on the program in a while.
Yeah. And also Gautam Singh's birthday was yesterday too. Carnival Tuesday. Gautam would have been extremely busy. Gautam from Singh's the Kamat. So, but we're here. We're happy to be in the land of the living, Port of Spain. Because I didn't leave. Well, I drove. Where did I stay? Anyway, I stayed in the West, but the place is absolutely spotless.
Yes, I did look at that this morning.
Spotless. St. James is spotless. It's a beautiful thing.
It's cleaned up nicely.
Once again, the true heroes of Carnival are our maintenance people, and of course the TTPS. I think they did a fantastic job this Carnival in terms of keeping things safe. I saw little skirmishes here and there, but St. James had none. I haven't been out for Carnival in the streets for Carnival for years. I spent 6 years as chairman of Downtown Carnival, but I basically stayed downtown. I didn't venture anywhere else. So I had the chance to see Juve from St. James. I was in St. James for Juve. After we finished, closed up for the Mardi Gras, I went to St. James. And I have to tell you, I actually enjoyed it a bit because I didn't move from where I was. But a lot of the bands passed, and the bands were huge. Huge Juve bands passed through St. James on Juve morning. I was really impressed, and the behavior wasn't as vulgar as I remember it back then. I have to admit.
Yeah.
I got so turned off at Juve and thing with the vulgar behavior. I didn't see it this year, thankfully, from the bands that passed in front of me, that is.
Well, let me tell you about another hero. Paul, you ready for this? You.
Yeah. Paul rescued TTT yesterday.
Listen, you should have been on TTT on the Mardi Gras evening.
Yeah. When I switched on my TV, I switched on the TV, but I was listening. And I hear this voice. I say, but I pause and message him. I say, hey, is that you are hearing on TTT? Yeah. I'm multi-talented, And then when he finally came on screen, I see this man in a short pants on TTT. I said, but what the hell going on
I am
here?
so glad I chose to wear short pants and a t-shirt because it was so hot.
I can imagine.
Extremely hot.
I am so happy I chose that.
Sun was blazing.
14 people collapsed at the Savannah alone.
Yeah.
Well, it was so hot.
People were collapsing in the grandstand for the Mardi Gras too. The ambulance was busy because they were right in front of us there by where Rumbox is. And the ambulance keep carrying people across to the hospital, And from heat,
Yeah.
From the heat.
I think what they should have done is set up, and I know they have it, some little hospital tents in the Queen's Park, Savannah.
Well, there was a medical center.
There was a medical center?
There was a medical center, but a doctor on duty all the way through NCC always provides that.
Really?
So there was a medical center. That's why people will be able to be treated in some instances with rehydration salts and in some instances intravenous strips.
IV lines.
IV lines. So there was a medical center, and there's always a medical center and an ambulance on duty at the Queen's Park, Savannah.
Fabulous.
But so Paul, just getting back.
And Wendell, you're right. This year, because I work both Monday and Tuesday at the Savannah anyway, and I saw some of the other television stations broadcast, it was not as vulgar.
I was.
A lot of nakedness, but it wasn't vulgar. But it wasn't vulgar. overdoing the bending over and the all of that stuff. So I think I want to add my commendations to trying to be good police service officers, TT Defense Force, fire services, special reserve police officers, and all the paramilitary units who came out, because it was a very, 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 very safe carnival.
Yes, it was.
And I remember telling the commissioner last time I saw her that, when you have these kinds of successes, claim them. Claim these successes, brand yourself for these successes, because it is not easy to oversee 200 or so events since the start of the season on Boxing Day. And culminating the Carnival Monday and Tuesday and over the weekend. So kudos to them. Really, really. I think the hero of this Carnival season is Beverly Ramsey on Pantry and Bagel. That's what I think the hero is.
Excellent show.
I think they've done amazing.
I think Pan finished like 1:45 or something like that.
Yeah, they started about an hour late.
The general transformation of Pan and the competitions and stuff. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning to our listeners, wherever you are, and viewers.
Your eyes red there, Richard.
Well, there was an alien band. There was an alien band called Invasion yesterday. Aliens played mass. I was looking for him. I didn't see him. But he messaged me and told me that was the false alien band. They weren't the aliens. So he said, "Don't take one eye for them. I know aliens."
Rima Carnival looked big this year, Richard.
Well, it was better this year, and one of these simple reasons, if I had to comment, is that it brought back Carnival to Central Arima. Before, it was restricted to just the Savannah and going around the Savannah. But obviously, they made an attempt to bring it back into the city center this year. It still was not as good as years ago, but it has better than it has been for the last few years.
Yeah, I saw a nice crowd in Grandy too, from a video. Grandy seems to have had a successful carnival too.
I saw a big crowd out in Cedros as well.
And San Fernando, all the community carnivals seem to have blossomed. And this was a really, really good carnival season in many different ways.
Sometimes you don't even have bands passing in front of us, because I'm telling you, the last few carnivals, you could think that Carnival is not on once you live in Central Arena. You could think it's just not on. It's just quiet. Nothing. Nah, but this Carnival, no. Because you even had one or two bands passing in front of, like, even where I lived, they had bands passing, people healing out, which is what you grew up with, and we need to do more of that, and that's snaking through the city center and stuff. It gives a very much a community vibe.
But St. James was every single major band passed through St. James, and they literally, they go down Matura Street, which is right by me here. So I spent the day right there, just looking at them. They pass down Matura Street, as you street with subway. They all come down and go down that street. Because I say I haven't had this opportunity in a while to not be downtown, to be somewhere else. I haven't had this opportunity in a while. And I enjoyed what I saw. I enjoyed because the TTPS were joined by soldiers and Coast Guard officers. So it's like a group of soldiers, Coast Guard, and TTPS moving about. And they were pleasant to people, because I observed their behavior. Some of them could get really rough, but they were actually making an effort to be pleasant to people. Even the drivers who shouldn't be driving through the streets, they were flagging them down and directing them, or sometimes even moving the barrier for them to pass. So all in all, what I saw and witnessed over the last few days. I'm happy. I'm not happy with Panorama results. I think All Stars won outright. I'm not happy with Calypso Monarch results. Well, I can't say I'm not happy with it. I don't think I was surprised.
Marsha Montano brought performance to that, and he took it to a different level to a lot of the other artists.
Wendell, I'm not surprised.
Performance, you knew that
he knows what his strength is. His strength is showmanship, stagecraft, performance level. So, with the exception of lyrics, he would have topped everyone.
So my surprise, my comment to Calypso Monarch is not because of the winner. I think Marshall deserved to win. I have no
Absolutely.
problem with that. But how they put heat on Francis for somebody's fighting that young man? Somebody's fighting him. He was 9th last year and 5th is somebody's fighting him. He was the second best performance on the night.
I agree with you.
Francis.
I think he should have come second, and I had no problem with Karina Ashe coming in second. I think one of the issues that I heard people commenting about is seeding the Tobago contestant in because he was at a severe disadvantage in terms of level. And I understand wanting the Tobago competitor to have a natural in, but I think they should probably revisit that. They also need to have some sort of mechanism, and I think Mrs. Ramsey more alluded to it, whereby if you have a tie, you have some other mechanism that kicks in, either throw the lowest points or the highest points in that that tie to give a separation. So
All Stars won the pan. All Stars won pan.
You know, I did play back All Stars. I did play back BP, and you know, just to see this tie and all, to me, All Stars was way ahead.
But it's always going to be a subjective interpretation. It is
judges
is going to be subjectively interpreted. So when this one should have win and that one is because everybody has internal biases, you know. So
but even Renegades no All Stars win the pack.
And then why they had how they don't have 2 trophies. It is contingency planning, and you have to congratulate them for that. The points were close, even in the semifinals. So I commend Mrs. Ramsey more on the team for thinking, you know what, this thing could end up in a tie, you know.
Yeah. Well, actually, a Renegades person, Clint Batiste, I'm thinking he might be listening. Morning, Clint. He said that a tie was almost destined to happen. But again, as I said, I think All Stars beat them on that night.
But going back to Calypso Monarch, why it is that TDT did not show the audience? Was it a sparse audience? Wendell, maybe you were there because
that whole production, Richard, in my view, was just horrible.
I don't think it was horrible, but what I didn't understand, because audience response traditionally in the Mardi Gras has always been something that you also look forward to in hearing the audience roar. First of all, you couldn't hear them at all. So and the camera seldom did, if it did at all. I can't remember it ever doing it. Never swung to audience response. You never got a zoom in of the audience. You never saw what the audience was like. So I was like, is this a deliberate? It's obviously deliberate. And I'm saying, is it because the audience is sparse that they're not going to the audience? Because
the grandstand was filled.
But
you know, stand didn't have much people.
Why that decision was made? Because you just never saw audience. You never saw audience response, which is such an it's something that as a viewer watching it on television that I wanted to see. And
you're right.
And for Miguel Teja, for example, I felt one of the, if I had to criticize Miguel Teja's performance, because I thought he was strong, but I felt he could have included the audience more, because everybody knew that song.
Well, Richard, I was there, right? The audience roared for Marcel. He followed by Helan. Helan had a hard act to follow coming after Marcel, but the audience did participate, did roar for him. But they didn't stop making noise for Miguel Teja. Even when he finished singing, the audience was there making noise for Miguel Teja.
And for me, for Miguel Teja to have won, if he was competitive enough against what Marshall did, because you realize Marshall brought the game to a different level.
Yes.
He had to bring in the audience a little bit more, because you had the luxury of the audience wanting to sing, to sing with you. So you could have brought them in, and you could have done some more dynamic interplay between the audience and himself. I felt was what was missing in his performance.
No, it happened. It happened, you know. It happened if you were live.
It happened organically in that they sang along with him.
Yes.
But he didn't interplay with them. He just continued to perform.
That's just experience. That's an experience thing. Yeah. And sometimes that stage can be quite daunting. I think also the fact that one of the big winners for Carnival 2024 is the fact that there has been so much. We're talking about Calypso Monarch. In past years, we wouldn't be talking about Calypso Monarch.
True.
You know that?
True.
There was a large resurgence of interest in the March Ryan Calypso Monarch. And yes, the grandstand was absolutely packed. And there's a director's issue. There is a director not understanding the importance of panning to the audience ever so often, because that is part of the show. It builds the atmosphere.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think it was a really, really good carnival. Congratulations to NCC, Ministry of Tourism, all the artists and the thousands and thousands of artists and creatives who work weeks and months to put on this. If we continue in this vein, there's no stopping Trinidad and Tobago Carnival.
Yeah.
In years, I think this was a really, really, really good carnival.
I want to say special congratulations to my friend Joseph Lewis for winning King of Carnival. I was rooting for him, and he did win.
Yeah.
I want to say great for him. Costume, of course, King of Carnival.
Yeah.
So I want to say congrats to him. I saw a post yesterday. Connected to what you just said, Paul. Somebody put up on Facebook that, this was the worst carnival ever. And I'm like, what?
I disagree.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I don't, social media is so sickening sometimes.
If people just want to say things to stand out, that's all it is. And a lot of the times, those are the people who sit down in the house and they ain't go a place.
Yeah. You gotta feel sorry for them.
They watch it, all that they're commenting on is what comes up on their feed. And they haven't gone out to experience anything.
I don't know what is going to be the future of social media in years to come and what it's going to evolve into being, but
scary.
It brings out the worst in humanity more than the best.
A dustbin for poor thought processes.
A
dustbin for mental excrement.
Yeah. If I have one criticism for the carnival is the mafia. I can't handle this soca mafia. And you know why? I am so disappointed, because Bungee Garden has been a victim of soca mafia before. Bungee Garden had really good tunes in the past that deserved Roadman and didn't get it because of the mafia.
I couldn't disagree with you more, because you were at the Savannah, I was at the Savannah for 2 days. Let me tell you what was happening. People were calling for both songs. The masqueraders were calling for both songs. People feel you have to choose one over the other. I was actually on the stage working on Carnival Monday. And when one song finished playing, the masqueraders wanted the other song.
And that
people loved both songs.
But guess what? It's what is played before the judges. It's not.
Yeah, and the judges are on stage. People were calling for both songs on stage because one song had a sweetness and the other song had an energy.
I think what you're missing is there was a demographic issue with it too. The bigger, younger bands were opting for Bungee Garden song. The individuals and the older demographic bands were calling, but they were all calling for DNA and Carnival contracts. So it is one of the keenest races I've seen in years. But I don't know that was a. Well, let me tell you something. I don't mind races, if it's fair. I don't mind. I have sat downtown for too many years and see the sweeter tune played right just before they enter the stage, and as they enter the stage, they switch to the mafia, whatever the mafia organize, and then they switch back after. I've seen it, and I'm convinced this is what happened to Miguel Teja again this year. I'm convinced of it.
Yes, there was a mafia in the past, but I think this year it was just very, very organic because people just loved both songs for different reasons. It's just two great songs, and one had a really strong. You have like the hardcore energy to the 128, 148 beats per minute, and everybody else like the others. So I think there were two great songs, and either of the two songs could win this afternoon.
I have nothing against Bungee Garden. As a matter of fact, I'm a strong supporter of Bungee Garden, but I am convinced that he engaged the mafia this year. I'm sorry. I'm not going to change my view on that.
And you're entitled to your view, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't really determine it watching it because, it's hard watching it on television to determine. But you did hear both.
Yeah, you heard a lot of both.
You know, I mean, I would like Miguel Deja to win because that song is
People like me because of the sentiment, young man rising in the ranks and doing well, and the story of rags to riches. And I understand the sentiment of it, but I think people just like both songs very, very much, and that is great. And I want to say good morning.
The Mafia.
I want to say good morning and get well soon to Nisha B. Trinidadians can be so cruel.
Oh, Lord, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
This young woman who is one of the nicest people you could ever meet in your life. You understand? Beautiful young woman doing her thing in chutney and soca. And she just didn't. And if you are ever on a stage, people don't understand a stage, with lights in your eyes.
Yeah.
When you are on that stage and lights are in your eyes, you do not see the edge of the stage. Yeah. That is why so many people follow the decision. If the people don't put caution sticker at the end to grab your attention, or a change in level of even one step.
That I think is the problem.
You don't
they shouldn't
see
build stages
that
like that.
One step. You have to identify that there's an edge here by tape or something, and they didn't do that. So thank God those two people reacted as they did.
They broke the fall. Yes,
we want to wish her all the best for a full recovery. She's not terribly badly hurt. She's of course sore, and she's recuperating. So good morning to her and her family.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they got ugly.
Yeah, it's just that's what I say. Social media gets disgusting at points, and you just have to switch off. And everything is a joke when it's not.
That is not joke. That's not a
and everything is made fun of when something shouldn't be, in my opinion. It's just
there's nothing funny about that.
Yeah, there's no standard.
She made a sincere error and she just didn't see.
Yeah,
she just
there's no standard of decency anymore. Everything is fodder and everybody trying to get views.
It's a repository, a trash can for mental excrement.
Yeah, everybody's just trying to get views.
And they don't care what they say or who they hurt.
Yeah. You're so right. Because certainly in theater, I mean, we've had our accidents already where people have to talk about stage and stuff like that. And I mean, Glow Tape, I know Glow Tape is our friend because when lights go black, I tell you, I am one of those actors who can't see a darn thing. And I'm like, so Glow Tape sometimes is your guide because they put Glow Tape at the edge of furniture. And if there's Wendell, and if there's a two-step, they'll put Glow Tape. So
you don't see it. You just don't see the change in level.
You can see the Glow Tape, so you know there's a change in level. So we're very big on Glow Tape, making sure that actors are safe on stage. But accidents can happen. And of course, theater begins tonight. Carnival Comedy Week with Nicky Crosby.
Paul, you didn't figure that out? I was wondering why you were interrupting him.
I'm a little tired this morning, so sorry.
Still Hot AF. The Carnival edition tonight at the Central Bank Auditorium. The Central Bank Auditorium opens from 12 noon. Straight to showtime. And so you can get your tickets at the Central Bank Auditorium. If you wanted one spot where you were sure you had tickets, it's Central Bank Auditorium. And we are finally taking links so you can pay via your card.
And may I add, I understand that from talking to Nikki, we hung out over the weekend, that even if you saw it before, there'll be new parts written in.
But I would imagine there'll be something special for you lovers today.
Yeah, well, you know that's something she can swing with, but because part of it was I was going through some of that on Monday and Tuesday, some of those additions and stuff like that, and of course, so it's on tonight. You should not miss it, and especially if you're visitors, it's a wonderful introduction to Trinidad and Tobago comedy. So it's on tonight at the Central Bank Auditorium.
It's not tonight, tomorrow, and Friday.
Yeah, tonight, Thursday, and Friday. It will be Nick Crosby. Still hot 50ish and still hot AF, the Carnival edition. And of course, on Saturday and Sunday, it's Bacchanal Bubble and Bad Behavior.
What is it that gets you actors so excited about Central Bank? She is so excited to be back in Central Bank, let me tell you. Is it the intimacy of it?
Yeah, the intimacy. Central Bank is kind of like home in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she is so excited. Talking over the weekend, even up to yesterday, she said she is so excited about being. I mean, she loves the other venues, but she is so. You actors get so excited about going back into Central Bank.
Yeah, And Central Bank is one of those places where the audience is right there. Even
Yes,
more so than
I guess that's where you get every
even more
nuance in the
so than
audience.
Cipriani College, because remember the audience is right there. I
She
mean,
said,
Cipriani College, the
she
audience
said,
is
come
close,
now, I have a line for you.
but Central Bank is right up there.
I said, no,
So
no.
it's just there's a wonderful warmth about Central Bank in terms of a performer on stage and the audience, upstairs and downstairs. If you've never been to Central Bank Auditorium, I don't know why you have.
It's like a theater home.
No, it's perfect for theater. It's perfect
but
for theater.
it really that has that warmth and it just envelops you as an actor on stage.
Yeah. Back in the day, I remember I used to sneak smooches when the lights go down. So in the really days of love, intense love.
Happy Valentine's Day, Wendell. And happy Valentine's Day, Paul, and happy Valentine's Day, Steve.
Yeah. Give me a break. My status.
This is the day I always moan and groan about it. This is the day that single people have a problem getting into restaurants.
My post today.
You turn up as a single person at a restaurant and they're like, "Why are you here?"
No, I find single people have it better because you can choose where you want to go to lunch with or dinner.
That's by yourself.
You can choose to go by yourself. You can choose whoever you want to go with. That's the great thing about it. You'd have to go to somebody who you may be angry with for the rest of the year.
It's safer not to choose at all, yes? Because from the time you make that mistake of choosing one over the next, it's problems.
It depends on how you handle
it.
It depends on how you handle your business. If they have no problem, like good morning, Zina. I just want to say condolences to the family of WPC Atalia Campbell, which is such a sad story. Because this young woman had 12 years of service and worked like so many thousands of other officers for Carnival, sacrificed the Carnival and worked. And she was, after performing duty from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, she apparently lost control of the car and collided with a light pole and sustained fatal injuries. And so I could just imagine how her family is feeling and her colleagues and her friends now. So she was attached to the police academy, and we would like to send condolences, sympathies, and prayers to her family, her friends, and her colleagues. Seemed like a very young person, relatively young person too.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of accidents over the weekend too.
There were a lot of accidents.
That doesn't fit.
I don't know if that's still because I don't know if it still applies generally to start or if it will apply in this situation. I think it should, but.
It's in the line of duty, not so?
Yeah. We're making international news, Trinidad and Tobago, that is. I saw Al Jazeera, CNN, BBC, all covering the spill in Tobago. And I want to congratulate both the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. It was so good seeing them working together at that press conference on Sunday and walking about and surveying the damage for the landscape. And it just goes to show sometimes you just put down the political swords and you work together in the interest of the country. And that to me, I just looked at it and said, and you saw no animosity or no apprehension between them. They were genuinely working together. And they genuinely went on tour and they were collaborating. And it was such a wonderful sight to see the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary put down the political swords and work together. I want to congratulate both of them.
Yeah,
I don't see it, but I heard about it.
I hit on my table like parliamentarians. But Paul, what I remember that picture you sent me, with the before and after, but I don't know. Remember you told me that the before was on the right and the after is the oil spill. But then on social media, I'm seeing the reverse. They're saying the before is the oil spill and the after is the cleanup.
So they cleaned it up. Well, the source I got it from said that the one with the clean side is the Thursday the 8th, and the one with the oil side is Tuesday the 13th of February. So I don't know if it's accurate or if they clean it up.
Okay, because on social media it was reversed, and people were saying, "Oh my God, what a great job they did!" Blah 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 blah. But
that's not my understanding.
Yeah, so I was confused.
But I guess we get an update from Tima this morning.
But Tuesday the 13th, as in yesterday, they still had all that oil?
as in yesterday, seemingly. But it's still seeping, and there are satellite images now because TIMA has obtained satellite images with the oil reaching the northwest and west of Tobago. The images also show that the anomaly, the slip, because they still haven't actually tested or identified. In Dr. Rowley's words, we know it's hydrocarbons, but we don't know all that the wreck was carrying. So you really can't identify. It looks like oil and it looks like some sort of hydrocarbon. It's now extending 88 kilometers and 248 meters in length and width, and extended from the west into the Caribbean Sea. So it's actually rolling up the Caribbean Sea and not more into Tobago, thank God. You know?
But where did this ship come from?
Nobody knows.
I can't even begin to imagine that a ship could just appear in our waters, leaking oil, and nobody knows where it came from or who commandeered it or whatever, or how it got to this
and
stage.
Somebody must have missed a ship with cargo of hydrocarbons.
Yeah.
That is now on world news and not taking risk, because they must tell us, if I take responsibility, I pay some money.
I don't understand it.
It's very weird that no one has claimed the ship so far. I think they said at one point, I don't know if it has been confirmed, but they said there was a St. Kitts Nevis flag on board, and it seemed to have some African insignia, but that has not been confirmed, because according to the Dr. Rowley, the press conference, there is no official word. And actually the name that they're calling it, the Gulf Stream, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And or the original.
Or was it something else?
Gulf Stream. Yeah, it's Gulf Stream.
That's the name of the boat?
So it is the boat, yes, seemingly.
So who owns a ship named Gulfstream? They must know.
Well, that's why they have not even been able to confirm that, that somebody said Gulfstream and everybody ran with it, but
Gulfstream is normally a
no
jet.
official confirmation of that.
There's unofficial reports stating that the boat is owned by St. Kitts. It came from St. Kitts. It's St. Kitts registered. So
they said there was a St. Kitts flag on it, but they had no information, because I'm sure by now the Trinidad and Tobago government would have called the St. Kitts government.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is an accurate statement, unless they would have said it at the press conference if it was confirmed. Dr. Rowley said that there's no official confirmation of the name, registration number, or owner of the vessel.
Yeah,
that is kind of mind-boggling, though, after all this time.
Yeah, it is. Congratulations to Miss Trinidad Tobago, Ashe Abraham, who headed off, to the Miss World pageant, which will be held in Mumbai, India, on Sunday, the 9th of March. Very, very pretty young woman. She's been doing a lot of work and is going to be representing us at Miss World. And from all reports, everyone expects her to do very well, because she's doing very well in the global run-up online voting. So we wish her all the best.
Okay. West Indies won a match over the last 3 days, though. I didn't look at it, but I just, people message me because they think I look at all cricket. No, I don't.
You're a cricket man.
But I didn't.
Sorry to interrupt you, Wendell, but Ingrid is telling me, well, one of my friends is telling me that, it was such a pleasure to see Lord Nelson, who performed in the Magic Cry, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Even with his cane and his age and energy, I'm not
He's
sure.
92.
He's 92.
92.
Yes, he's 92.
And she's very right. That to celebrate him a little bit more and talk about him a little bit more, because it's incredible for somebody 92 years old to be a counselor on stage and still project that energy and vibe of Carnival. So it was
still wearing the onesie.
Yes, still wearing the onesie.
Still wearing his
Where's he gonna wear?
With all the with the pouch on the side. With the pouch on the side.
The left side or the right side?
I suppose that's
it shifts sometimes, but it's not consistently on any one side, the pouch. Good morning, Nelson. He's really a living legend in a gym.
Yeah.
All right,
And
gentlemen,
nice
let's get the
person.
headlines going.
Oh yes.
Anyone have
You all will have to help, because I didn't buy a paper. I came I came. The papers vendors weren't out as yet when I passed through St. James. So
I could do the
All right.
Guardian. So,
All right, let me start with the Express. Then it's Wednesday, 14th February. Happy Valentine's to those of you who celebrate Valentine's, like Wendell Stephen. Express for today. I see our colleague, DJ Marcus Williams, proposed to his girlfriend on the Socadrome stage. I always wonder about these public proposals. Anyway, romance at the Socadrome as DJ proposes. Clearly quite staged, planned.
who was that? Sorry, is our colleague from
DJ
Wendell?
Marcus Williams.
Okay.
The front page
He's
of
from
the
Boom-
Express is
He's from
Socadrome.
Boom.
Sorry?
some boom or lit.
No, he's from neither of the above. He's just one of our
Okay.
He's just our colleague, so we just.
He works with Star. Well,
He
in the
went to
medium.
Boom and Red. Sorry.
In the medium. In the
Forgot
medium.
you have such an expansive portfolio.
We forgot, yes. It's probably a TTT person. Oh,
The front page of the Express is Bungie versus Tasia, right? So that those are the road match contenders. There were no others, quite frankly. DJ proposes on stage. DNA Carnival contract do battle. Erla happy with turnout. I'm seeing a picture of the commissioner, the Minister of National Security. WPC dies in highway crash. Really sad story. Cop arrested for beating and handcuffing wife.
I heard that story this morning. That's so crazy.
What's
It
that?
is. It's not so crazy. You could tell you. Let me ask one more time. I enough talk. I enough back on that. Police Carnival Old Mass kept alive in Sando. Of course, Karen Inez swept Old Mass. Karen was the star of Juve,
As expected.
as expected. So those are the trending stories Express for today. Go ahead, Richard.
All right, so
That's
the
what I
Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. The main headline: full free up. Masqueraders say masks are released from stress. Spectators see carnival as a way to steer youth away from crime. Tourists enjoy the party. And I mean, all of these little fights that you saw online with people, with all of these young people fighting. I mean, what the hell is wrong with you all? Can we not get together in groups and not have to have a fight? And a lot of them involve women. A lot of them women are involved. I mean, come on.
Fighting for man.
Come on. That's ridiculous. It's embarrassing and ridiculous.
Alcohol and weed.
A Lost Tribe Rainforest Masquerade enjoys herself on the Socadrome stage during the parade of bands at the Jean Pierre Complex yesterday. Lost Tribe is pretty, K2K was always wonderful to see too.
Peter Samuel's band, Kinetic, fantastic.
Yeah, I was also,
Oh my God.
Funny, interesting. Top Cop praises turnout by officers. Monday night mass booms in Central. All of that is on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Sorry, and on the back page,
Today.
yeah, okay.
What's
Well,
happening in the
it's like a
background?
wraparound. It's basically pictures of Carnival, and all of the different Carnival celebrations. So that's it.
All right,
Well, tell us that. Don't have the lulls. You want Paul to step in again?
let's move to the news day. Heat in the savannah as 14 collapse.
Here comes to see today with the headlines.
Deaf University lecturer vows to return for Carnival 2025. Kaiso Renaissance as Marshall takes crown. Bands bring vibrant choreography to Savannah stage. Kunupia man, 29 kills attacker during home invasion. 2-horse race for road march. Bungie versus Tasia. Streets filled in South Trinidad. Hines calls out critics after police capture human trafficking convict. PAN 2024 highlights and Hines, no major explosion of violence for Carnival 2024. So, and traditional man still alive. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday for 20.
Yeah.
For today.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the Soca Mafia didn't work down south and in Arima and other places where they were judging points. I'm hoping it didn't work there. It was just a Port of Spain thing. I'll wait and see. But something I was going to say when you were reading, something that came up. But anyway, so what are we doing? What are we polling?
Was it a poll, Wendell?
I don't know if people thought that the carnival was one of the best. I thought it was one of the best.
The question I'm typing now is, do you think TNT staged a successful Carnival 2024?
Yeah, okay. Well, we are one on that. Richard, are you in agreement?
Most things, Wendell. Surprisingly, you know that.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Just
You went
deviate.
and saved you went and saved TTT yesterday. We have to save the power breakfast show, though.
As Paul continues to type the poll, just reminding you that theatre is on this week at the Central Bank Auditorium and starting tonight at the Central Bank Auditorium with Nicky Crosby, who does a stellar performance in 50-ish and still hot AF.
Yeah, I think that's a great stand-up from Nikki.
You should not.
It's a great stand-up. Yeah. I like the part with the
a lot of fun.
With the chlorine wet wipes.
So the poll this morning is: do you think TNT staged a successful Carnival 2024? Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. So 222-8255.
North
American.
525-1099.
And on WhatsApp.
866-525-1099. WhatsApp is 318-1021. Of course, you can put the 868 before, but 318-1021. It'll be lovely to hear from visitors who are visiting.
Did you all see Ursha at the Super Bowl halftime?
I saw some of
Yeah, I did watch it.
I wasn't particularly impressed.
I was hoping he had brought, but see if he had brought on my friend Taylor, it would have been spectacular. But
once Alicia teases there, it's great. All right, got some votes already, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. I got Wayne B saying yes. Boy Bedesi, yes. Karen Yipnow, yes. Helen Prescott, yes. Alan Reese, yes. CJ, yes, indeed. Lester Craigwell, yes. Sunny San Fernando. Oh, Trevor Narima says yes. Sunny says yes. Good morning, GNC Auto Security. John Cato, yes. Cheryl Johnson, yes. Let's see.
Because I'm using my phone, I have to depend totally on you. I can't look at the comments at the same time. I haven't seen comments for the day, actually.
Oh, okay. Captain Ron says, I am back home in Orlando resting for 2 weeks. Okay. But he did says yes. Val says yes. He says, good morning. Yes to the poll. Dr. Paul Richards made me spit out my coffee when he interviewed Baby Doll. Okay. Michael says, good morning. Long Islander says yes. I've got Eve. Good morning, Eve, out in Sugargorner says yes. Let's say good morning going out to Trinity in Boston. Morning to you. Hope
yes,
you had
a special good morning to Trini in Boston and her lovely daughter. They came across the rumbox in the savannah and met me. So I took a picture and I sent it in the chat. Trini in Boston is here, and
there's 3 people I met who don't live in Trinidad and Tobago who watch the Power Breakfast show every day. Good morning. Thanks for walking up and saying hello. They said to tell you guys hello. They said we make their mornings around the world, especially when it was snowing in New Jersey and New York yesterday and raining in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another guy also came up to Rumbox and he said he looking for Wendell. I said, well, okay, what you want Wendell for? He said, well, I was listening to him on a morning and so on. And I thought my voice was a dead giveaway. But he didn't recognize me. And I said, okay. And then I said, so who are you? Since you know me. He said, I just I'm somebody from anywhere. I said, okay, I'll say that on radio, I'll say I met somebody from anywhere, right? He said, yeah, go ahead. But he lived abroad. He lived in the Middle East for 15 or 16 years.
All right, we have a call. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
In the poll, I heard you shouting me out. If you never shout me out, the others won't. this morning. So unless you see the name or come up printed, all you won't say morning to all the regular callers. Thank you, my dear Paul. And
No,
you
it's
did
just not that, darling. It's that they leave that for me. They know their places.
Well, exactly. I thought that was obvious.
Let me answer the poll. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was good. But yes to the poll. But it
Jesus.
Did
I
you
want
see?
to come.
Did you see how your outfit that you put out for me had an impact?
Yes, and I saw that energy drink. I was very much impressed that you had to take that. I said because you know you have to keep that energy up.
That's
You
right.
taking calls after the poll?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to talk a little bit, not for long, to the head of team, Alan Stewart, and then we'll open up the lines.
Oh gosh. All right. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Zena.
Yeah. Okay.
All
You
right.
know, I always let you call after the poll. We'll talk.
To the 28255 North
Ms.
America.
Maloney,
It's
Ms. Maloney says yes. Wayne Griffith says yes.
She
Ray
likes
Ray
to talk
says
after the
yes.
poll.
Finbar Collins, totally successful. Mac says yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Mrs. R, she's up. Okay. I've got, who's this now? Michael. Michael from London is saying yes, very successful.
Mm-hmm.
The events to begin on time. Totally agree.
I think Michael Robinson headed back to Japan already. You know, I think he's gone back already.
No, he says he's going back on the 20th.
On the 20th, okay.
Yeah. Edwin Marshall says yes to the poll, watching you via YouTube in Switzerland. Good morning to you, Edwin Marshall.
Might be heading out your way soon, Edwin.
Right. So, our poll, do you think Trinidad and Tobago staged a successful carnival for 2024? That is our morning poll. All right. Do you think TNT staged a successful carnival 2024? Yes or no? Call us 222-8255. North Americans, toll free 866-525-1099. On WhatsApp at 3181021. All right. Rena Booty Jennings says most certainly. Chris Toussaint says yes. He says broadcast was great, except for the shorts. Gregory Bauer.
The things
says
people
yes.
obsess over, let me tell you.
What did Gregory Boyer say?
Yes.
Okay.
JJJ.
Gregory worked for Carnival too. I saw him in the Savannah
I
weekend.
wanted to congratulate Richard has his ashes on his forehead.
He does?
Yeah, you ain't seen it?
Nah, he ain't doing that.
I went out 5 o'clock this morning. All right.
You could
That
see
ought to be the ashes after the church burned down.
No. Rena Booty Jennings says most certainly. Gene Clark says yes. All right, you guys have. Ooh, you said this.
As he running out the church, he put his hands on. God. After the church catch a fire, and he running out.
She might flower the church, and then
You might get another earthquake.
Priest go set a shake when we should have walking on the aisle.
Keegan Barrett says yes. One of the best.
Hold up the crucifix.
Yeah.
As we should have walking up the aisle, hold up the crucifix.
You know, I'll ignore yours.
Yes.
All these servants that are
What
scattered.
apparition is this walking into the church here now? All the Archbishop here send reinforcements.
You want to do the exorcisms.
Send
That's
reinforcements.
me one time.
The bastard walk in the church.
If a spite this morning.
When he walk in there, they don't talk English again. They go back to Latin. You know?
Latin, yes. Latin, that. Me, Dominos. Excelsior.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we got to run into our 7 o'clock major news. So let's do that right now on
Thank you,
this
Steve.
love
Thank
day.
you.
On
Thank
the
you, Steve.
14th day of Lovuary. Let's get it.
Love you, Ari. I like that.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Police Commissioner says Carnival 2024 went without any major incidents. Meanwhile, police will monitor cooldown activities at various locations today. The TTPS mourns one of their own as WPC Atalia Campbell dies in a fatal car accident. Guyana government says it will cut strikers' pay, teacher union vows court action, and the U.S. House votes to impeach Homeland Security Secretary. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. Commissioner of Police Erla Hayward Christopher says the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officers, as well as their key partners in national security, have ensured Carnival 2024 continued smoothly and without any major incidents. Commissioner Hayward Christopher made the announcement on Tuesday following the annual Carnival walkabout in downtown and uptown Port of Spain, where she commended police officers for staying true to their oath of office. The Commissioner of Police addressed the media and provided a status of operations within the past 48 hours. Addressing the rumors of perceived manpower shortages, the top cop said that up until the time of the tour, there was no indication that police officers had absconded from their duties, and that because of their meaningful presence throughout the activities, events were not interrupted by any form of major disturbances. She credited these successes to the cooperation and trust of the public and the multi-agency approach adopted by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Carnival team this year, coordinated by acting ACPs Thompson and Maharaj. Meanwhile, the TTPS, with the support of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, Trinidad and Tobago Municipal Police, Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, Transit Police Service, Parliament Police Unit, and various other key partners, provided logistical support and security to over 200 events throughout the season, which continued until midnight. According to the Commissioner of Police, the TTPS continues to monitor all activities and has increased road and crime suppression exercises leading up to and beyond the finale as it anticipates the usual cool-down activities today, Ash Wednesday, at various locations. Citizens and road users are again being cautioned to act responsibly by arranging reliable and trusted transport to and from events, avoiding excessive alcohol and drug consumption, and remaining vigilant to surroundings and cooperate with the authorities. The police service is mourning one of its own today. Woman Police Constable Athalia Campbell died in a car accident. The TTPS says initial reports indicate after performing her duties from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon while driving her personal vehicle around 5 p.m. along the Sir Solomon Huchoy Highway near the Charles Street turnoff, WPC Campbell allegedly lost control and collided with a light pole. She sustained fatal injuries. Upon hearing the news, DCP Simon, Senior Superintendent Sudin, and ASP Barit visited the scene of the accident. The TTPS is committed, it says, to providing all necessary support to WPC Campbell's family during this time of grief and ensures they receive counseling and any other resources needed to help them cope with their loss. St. Margaret's police are currently conducting inquiries into the matter. WPC served her country for 12 years and was last attached to the police academy. The Road March race is wide open with fierce competition from the two contenders on Carnival Monday and Tuesday at many venues throughout TNT. Young King Macaltasia's runaway hit DNA faced stiff competition from Bungie Garland's Carnival contract as the race for the coveted Road March crown tightened between the two performers. Music trucks seemed to focus on the two apparent Road March contenders, which several bands paraded too. While for the better half of the morning, Carnival contract seemed to have been the top pick, DNA continued to be a hot choice throughout the festivities. Tuco will announce the results later this afternoon. More than a dozen people collapsed due to heat-related illnesses and issues at the Queen's Park Savannah on Tuesday as temperatures reached a scorching 32 degrees Celsius. According to a doctor stationed at the medic room in the grandstand, up until 2 p.m., they had to attend to 14 people, the majority of whom had shown dehydration-related symptoms caused by the heat. In many cases, doctors were able to orally administer rehydration salts, and in some cases, the patients were rehydrated using intravenous methods. The doctor said none of the cases were considered to be serious. Despite the heat, spectators sat in the shade of the stand, some with paper fans in hand, and enjoyed the parade of the bands. In other news, using satellite data, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, or TEMA, has detected possible oil reaching northwest and west of Tobago, originating from the overturned vessel south of Cove. TEMA said the satellite data, captured on Sunday, February 12th, revealed a silver slick-like emanating from the wrecked vessel, accompanied by streaks of a thick black-like substance. The agency stated that the anomaly measured 48 nautical miles, approximately 88 kilometers in length, and 0.13 nautical miles, or approximately 248 meters in width. The spill extends from the west to the northwest into the Caribbean Sea. Over the last few days, and at the time of the satellite data, winds measured 16 knots from the east, guiding the potential drift path of the oil slick. There have been no indications of oil entering the western or northern coasts of Tobago, and Grenada's Disaster Management Agency says the spill does not threaten their coastlines based on the latest data. The capsized vessel named Gulfstream was discovered on February 7th with a thick oil-like substance covering several kilometers of Tobago's windward coasts. To date, the leak has not been plugged and the owner of the ship has not been identified. Meanwhile, a hazardous seas alert is in effect. The Met Service says the yellow level alert will come to an end at 10 a.m. on February 16th. It was issued at 3:40 p.m. on Tuesday. Northerly long period swells persists, maintaining hazardous conditions along the northern and northeastern exposed coastlines of Trinidad and Tobago. These swells can result in battering waves at coastal regions and can be exacerbated during high tides. Nearshore activities, fishing, sea bathing, mooring of boats, etc., can be adversely affected. All marine interests should monitor nearshore coastal sea conditions and exercise caution along affected areas. Avoid marine activities. Continue to monitor updates from official sites. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Media reports from Guyana says that with a teachers' strike in its sixth day on Tuesday, positions hardened on both sides, with the government vowing to deduct monies from those on the picket line and the Guyana Teachers Union vowing to go to court over the matter. A public notice signed by the permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Education and Local Government said they'd received from the 11 education districts a list of teachers who have not reported for duty at their assigned schools and who have not received the necessary leave, approval, and or permission during the school week ending February 9th, 2024. As a result, the ministries advised the teachers will not be paid for the days on which they were absent without permission, and this will be reflected in the March 2024 salaries in accordance with the law. Further afield, the House of Representatives has narrowly voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, making him the first cabinet member to face impeachment in nearly 150 years in the United States. Many Republicans blame Mr. Mayorkas for an unprecedented influx of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. The Republican-led chamber voted 214 to 213 for the measure after an earlier attempt failed last week. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, generally sunny, hazy, and breezy with a chance of brief isolated showers. Tonight will be mostly fair apart from the chance of the odd isolated shower. A moderate concentration of Saharan dust is currently present in the atmosphere. Sensitive persons are again being advised to take the necessary precautions. Additional marine information, a hazardous seas alert yellow level remains in effect. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 31 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently is 25 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 26 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock, Police Commissioner says Carnival 2024 went without any major incidents. Meanwhile, police will monitor cooldown activities at various locations today. The TTPS mourns one of their own as WPC Athalia Campbell dies in a fatal car accident. Guyana government says it will cut strikers' pay, teachers union vows court action, and U.S. House votes to impeach Homeland Security Secretary. I'm Avril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Avril, for our major news. Yep. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. Quickly taking a look at what's happening traffic-wise. It is lighter than usual. You got some traffic from Trin City towards Orange Grove, a little volume as you head towards Paget, but after that, it's clear sailing till you get into by Barataria, where you got some traffic heading into Port of Spain. Out of the west, Maraval, Diego Martin, Lower Santa Cruz, nothing to tell you about. Those that are heading northbound. San Fernando, nothing. Just headed to Marabella roundabout. Solo is clear. Little traffic by Chagonis Main Road. But that's it. Solo is absolutely clear. All right. So there you go. All right, gentlemen. So let's see. Do I have any more votes? I do, actually. Keegan Barra says yes. DL says no to this year. Oh, hold on. Where did he go? Where did he go? He does this. Okay, here you go. No to this year, but we are finding our way back to greatness. All right. Hoodawell says yes. Marcia Rock in Florida says yes. Donna Clark says yes. Leo Henry. Good morning to you, Leo Henry. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me just check WhatsApp here. Got nothing. All right. So that's it. Let's get the results of our morning poll. We asked you this morning, do you think TNT staged a successful Carnival 2024?
All right. I have 34-1, Richard.
I have 31-1, but I could have missed some.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he has
34-1.
What about you? 34-1. That sounds like a pick too.
Yeah.
31, yeah.
The ironic thing is that the carnival that was built last year after COVID as the greatest carnival, the mother of all carnivals, didn't live up to it, but this year it lived up to it.
Yeah, I think so. And I saw a new band came out called Spirit. I think it's Schoon, Adrian Schoon. That band, I think that was the biggest band.
Well, it was a very big band because apparently a lot of the people from my understanding, from Tribe, Yuma, all the other bands that gotten really big and cumbersome went over. And Adrian is very well networked, as you know. So for a debut band,
Adrian used to be with Tribe, not so?
He used to be with one of them. Is that Tribe or Yuma?
Tribe of Bliss.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of them.
And the band was really, really well made and well put together, and it was very, very, very big band.
Because he passed through St. James, that's how I got to see him yesterday, and it was huge.
Yeah, for a new band.
Yeah, for a new band.
Yeah,
but Adrian Schoon is very, very well networked, so he knows all.
He is.
And I guess sections from this band. Just I remember like long time with Barbarossa and Tribe and Poison when they got too big, and then you had the other bands breaking off and forming bands themselves. So I guess the same thing is happening now. It's normal evolution of Carnival.
Yeah, yeah.
What I like though on Monday and Tuesday is that on Monday, the NCC puts aside from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for traditional mass and small bands and community bands, which I think is fantastic because they have this space and they don't get sandwiched into between the big bands, which has happened in the past. So that time is for them alone, and they beautiful, brilliant. You could be an individual, you could be whatever. That's your time. And then after Monday, the big man started to come. And then on Tuesday, well, it's anybody could pass. I saw All Stars pass by. They had a ball with the powder mask. They sailor, you know.
Yeah.
1,500 or so strong.
Is that the senior citizens, man? Somebody's asking on my. Somebody's asking.
Yes, it was a mature band. It was.
It is always a mature band.
I turned on. I think I switched on at I know with the mask powder, because they had a lot of powder in that band, and the sailor mask. And I swear to God, at the time that I switched on, it was just people going so. Oh my God, it's Michael Jackson.
Oh gosh.
I said,
No, but it's also a big band. They've won band of the year downtown a lot of time. I can't even report on downtown carnival for the first time. I don't know how downtown carnival was at all. Nobody has said anything. I haven't seen any comments on it. I haven't seen any postings on it, because normally as I get there, I would start posting, and put up the images and so on.
Really, I saw who's the man? Chinua?
Chinua, yeah. Chinua has his own band too, a Juve band, a huge band that also passed through St. James. He's been doing Dirty Dozen for years. That's his band.
I saw a post with him and a girl talking about carnival and launching carnival.
Okay, so they probably would have. I don't know what he does on Monday and Tuesday, but I know Juve morning he has a big band that comes out from right by home I am there. It's called Dirty Dozen. Okay,
I saw them saying something, because you were saying I'm the mayor and she was saying something. And I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe I was watching it through tired eyes.
Yeah.
Because oh my goodness, I lined this carnival from.
You did.
I did.
I worked.
I did up to a certain point, up to Sunday. I didn't do Juve. I was to do Juve with Street Canal, and a whole group of us who never missed Street Canal. Well, I missed it for many years. Last year I played it and it was wonderful. But like Ricardo, who does not miss Street Canal, this year just couldn't. Well, he was like, I'm not in the mood this year. For some reason, he wasn't, and he was busy getting stuff ready because we had this week carnival comedy
production to do.
So he prioritized that, and some other friends. But I made a mistake of I shouldn't say mistake, but I made a mistake kind of going out Saturday night with a friend of mine, whom.
Richard, are you breaking up or is it my phone?
No, I'm pausing for traumatic event.
Oh, okay.
I went out with a friend of mine who, you know when you go out with one of those people and there is no stopping and you're ready to go since 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and it just goes on and on and on.
I know the type.
I was with one of those, and
a visitor, a foreigner.
No, a visitor from Grandy. And it went, you know what time I got home? When 7 a.m. in the morning.
Wow. That is from when?
That's from Saturday night. I got home at 7 a.m. Sunday morning.
Okay.
So there was no way I could have done Juve. My body at that point said, well, it probably cursed me and said, no, you ain't going nowhere for the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And so said, so done. I was just too exhausted because days before that, I have another friend. And we were going out almost every night, going on the avenue. We usually go Brooklyn Bar, then probably my friends, or smoking Mondays. We kind of bar hop on the avenue, just looking around, and then just watching and seeing what's going on.
I stayed far from that avenue. This kind
Well, gentlemen, I do have the head of team, Mr. Alan Stewart, online. Good morning to you, Mr. Stewart.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning to the team.
Yeah, morning,
of course. All of Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning to the Paul Breakfast Show with Paul Richards, Richard Ragoobarsingh, and Wendell Stephen.
Morning, Mr. Stewart.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, thanks for joining us. Well, can we have a first update on the status of the flow of the hydrocarbon from the wreckage at this point, please?
One of the things that we recognize that the flow continues and efforts continue as well from the response side of things, that the containment continues. we are very privileged that we were able to acquire additional booms, and based over the past 72 hours or so, those larger booms were able to be deployed to the threatening areas that were identified along the southwest coast, the lagoon and those areas, the mangrove, to ensure that they, as I indicated in one previous broadcast, that our ecosystem, while we rely heavily on it, it is under a major threat as a result of this incident. So these booms are being deployed. Our teams this morning, just after 6, were mobilized. Once again, we have a number of stakeholders, and I think it is good it gives confidence to the rest of the listening public that I mentioned. This is being led by a number of experts in the field, Kaizen, Environs, Heritage, the guys from Ampita, Tiger Tank, the IMA, the Ministry of Energy, the Coast Guard, the EMA. All of these experts and resource has been brought to the table. As I indicated, this is a level 2 now, and which is tipping. We are at the brink of what can be escalating into a level 3, given the type of resource. And as we shift in changes in our operational period and go into other incident action plans that lend to, for example, the wreckage and what you do with it, some external help definitely will be required, and that will take us into a level 3. And when I say external help, I'm speaking about international resources coming into the picture. But nevertheless,
what makes the difference between a level 2 and a level 3 in the determination, Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, in accordance to the Tobago House of Assembly oil spill contingency plan, and in accordance to the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, they goes in tier levels. Our tier level will speak to the areas that has been impacted. For example, it may be, in this case, the Tobago House of Assembly and its resources. Once it exceeds the capacity of the area command or the area under threat, in this case, the Tobago House of Assembly, and the resources available to it, it goes into a national level, which is considered a tier 2. So this is where we are at this stage. And as I said, we are tipping into a tier 3 because there is a strong likelihood that we will see for certain parts of the operation, it may require, especially if we move to the area of salvaging and things like that, there is a strong possibility that we may go into a tier 3. So we are at tier 2 at this time, and the national resources are being utilized in a very, very strong way with the input of and the guidance of the Ministry of Energy, Mark Rudder and his team that is on the ground. We have been doing a tremendous job, and I just want to recognize those efforts. As I indicated earlier on, we have climbed a very steep hill, and currently we are comfortable on a plateau, which I could describe as having command and control over this event.
So you have gotten command and control, because when the Prime Minister did his press conference, he suggested that there was not yet control of the situation in terms of the overturn.
Yeah, the ability is all speaks to the resources and what is projected. In terms of the prospectus, one can make those predictions. In other words, will we be able to handle this? The answer is yes. And when I say we, the nation and the disaster mechanism in the country, we have brought it all to bear. We have one more layer in terms of resource capacity, and that has to do with what we are now suctioning. We are awaiting the return to service of the Cabo Star to bring up those large tanks that we're able to use as a reservoir to whatever hydrocarbons it's suction out of the various layers or places to have it stored. As you know, we are dealing with a hazard of chemical that need to be treated in a particular way. While from our common sense can tell us what we are treating with, scientifically, the testing and those rudiments are still not in our hands that we could definitely say X, Y, and Z, this is what it is. But we know we are dealing with a hazardous hydrocarbon substance, based on the viscosity of it, based on how its behavior, its coloration. These are tell signs that, instruments in the field can tell us in some way what we are dealing with. But to keeping things official, we just await these reports coming back from the IME.
Are we seeking international assistance as yet with regard to this? Because, the flow and currents of water is that it could start drifting up the Caribbean. So have we sought international assistance to try and deal with the problem as soon as possible?
Yes, definitely. Based on our situation reports tell a story. So you have international bodies that are, for example, we have the United Nations. They have reached out to us for assistance. I know between the ODPM and SEDIMA, so the country may be aware that Trinidad and Tobago is a focal point on behalf of SEDIMA, which is the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, and therefore that is coordinated. We have been in communication with General Smart. He have been reaching out and placing the necessary inputs as to where to go, how to go about it, things like that. And there are some procedural steps, but definitely the consultations internationally has begun, and therefore, as I said, we are on top of the plateau, area of command and control, and therefore it's a matter of executing the plan, some of which we have to steer it in a particular manner to ensure that there is no failure. Let me give you an example. You may put down booms. If the conditions and the tide conditions are very threatening out there, a boom may be released. So those are the levels, but the resource in terms of sizing of the incident, having the right, knowing what to bring to the table, are we on top of those things? And those things are currently on land and in theater functioning on our behalf.
Mr. Stewart, is the vessel still leaking any hydrocarbon at this point, or are you dealing with the hydrocarbon that has leaked over the last couple of days?
Based on the what we would have done with drone footage, there is an indication, and also satellite image indicate that there is still releases. The divers at our last briefing at 6 o'clock, 1800 hours yesterday evening, indicate same. So the teams are going back out there. They have come up with plans as to how they may attempt to do it, but it's a very tricky approach. It requires the doings of risk assessment. One, it's a dangerous operation. It have its own dangers, and therefore, with that risk assessment and approvals and things like that as to how you make those approaches, the plan will kick in. That they are working towards those things. But what is important right now is the containment. We maintain the containment of the flow. We protect the areas by way of the right size booms, and we focus on the pockets that have breached our shoreline. So there are 3 levels to the cleanup. They call it, you contain on shore, remove them, remove what is sensible to be removed. Otherwise, it's like trying to spill a broken bucket. So we are doing that, and then you move to the stage whereby you may try to polish. So the shoreline of Rocky Bay, Scarborough, looks healthy this morning as a result of all the work that has been done by a number of the cleanup teams, including of Heritage and Tiger Tanks and some of these giants that has come to the table.
Have we identified where the boat has come from? Have we identified the boat at all?
While the answer to that is no, but I can give you the assurance that based on the investigations and based on the things that are going on behind the scenes, and I use the word vessel in this case, vessel. We will want to. I have to be very limited in terms of what can be said, but at the same time, the answer is no. But I could tell you there are progress being made in terms of identifying the vessel. It's like looking for the serial number of an item to bring it home.
I saw a post, and I don't know if it's accurate, that volunteers are being accepted. Is that true?
Volunteers are being
accepted in terms of the cleanup operation. Are you accepting volunteers to help with the cleanup, particularly on the shore?
Yes, certainly. There are a lot of erroneous statements out there, some of which at my level I can respond to, and some you leave alone, because everybody, this is an area where sharks come today. It's a shark fest, so to speak. And as a result of that, you play something on social media, it continue playing. But what I can say is that volunteers plays a key role in any cleanup. There are different levels of cleanup. Once the training, the PPEs are in place, then you mobilize them. There's the logistics. There's the operational period. There are those functions in terms of we utilize the ICS system, and they are placed for volunteerism at all levels of this operation. And some of the volunteers, I don't want it to be taken that to, it is very disrespectful for persons to look down on volunteerism. I, Alan Stewart, came out of volunteerism, and I brought to the table a certain level of expertise in the area of communication. So I don't want people to, when they hear the term volunteerism, they think it's a minimal task. Yes, there are minimal tasks in volunteerism, but it's also expertise that are volunteering their assistance to this effort. So I just want to place that on the table, and as to how you describe volunteerism, it needs to be well qualified in its different layers. I hope you understand where I'm going with this.
Yes, we do. The Prime Minister described this as Richard, you're muted.
As a what?
As a major emergency. Is that status still active? Is this being described as a major emergency?
This is a tier 2. Yes, this is a major spill, and therefore all hands on deck are needed. There's a lot of logistics. If you understand the booms, it's like building a 10-story building. There's a role for what you may call laborers in the pit. You understand what I'm saying? There's areas for heavy lifting and things like that. And therefore, there is a role for everyone. So volunteerism is accepted. We up to, I think you guys remember Mr. Best from he's at the IME and Marine Affairs now. And they are lending their support to this effort. And one of that is training volunteers in terms of how they apply the tools, how you fit together the booms and things like that. This is necessary. All this is necessary. I don't want to spend any more time talking about that. Maybe we can move on to another question. I'm a short time.
I know Wendell was trying to get in a question earlier. I don't know if he still has this question.
Sorry, guys. No, I've been trying to ask what, if any, damage was caused by the spill so far. I haven't heard that.
Yeah. One of the things that we know definitely, it is very early in the day, so we know definitely that the marine life came under attack. And I broadly said the ecosystem of Tobago, which consists of the air, sea, fauna, and mammals. So far we have the Wildlife Association have discovered 3 birds that they saw engulfed with, but they were in flight still. We expect that will be one of the impacts. Then we have the small crabs, fishes in these protected areas that came under attack. Also, air quality. Air quality was affected to some extent that today there are 2 schools that will remain closed, which is the Lambo AC School and also the Scarborough Secondary School. These schools, based on the air quality at this time, and the we have asked the Tobago House of Assembly have made a decision to have those 2 schools closed, and there may be others. But I could tell you the air quality has improved significantly, especially in the Scarborough area. So we are seeing very rapid restoration of air quality going forward. Another area that we are focusing on is water quality. So those testing, the IMA and the various institutions, the EMA, they are doing their part in monitoring these levels, and we are expecting the reports to come in on a daily basis that will allow us to know where we are going forward.
Okay. In terms of the extraction, the oil that you're extracting from the ocean, where is that being stored as right now?
At this stage, they are using tankers to store it. There is those 40-foot tanks that are going to be joining the operations, because we are getting to that level where we are tipping over, so to speak, and therefore, with the arrival of the Cabo Star, the reservoirs for the waste, or that which is extracted, will be stored there. And we are talking about another level of operation that has not come into the pictures yet, in terms of whether incineration or how you will place them. But immediately what we have been doing, the Division of Health and the Environment would have identified spots that at a certain location at the dump, where certain parts of it were asked to be placed there with a particular application that to allow it to be managed properly, meaning therefore they identify it as cells that they create. So that was in a very early phase based on the tier 1 level. At this stage, tankers are being employed into the operation to allow for that type of storage, and then we'll talk about the disposal or the downstreams or whatever they will do going forward. We will do going forward. But we are not at that stage. As I repeat, let me repeat that those tankers are coming into the theater of operations, aided by the national office and allowing the cooperation of the Port Authority to take place. So we know by tomorrow morning those extra tankers, which provide 40 feet, it's like 40 feet length, they will be coming in, and they require such Cabo Star to be able to bring them to Tobago in order for us to store those. So I think that answered that question.
Well, you kind of answered my next question already, though. But maybe let me ask it anyway. What use can be made of what you're extracting from the ocean? What good use can be made from it?
Fortunately, I'm one of the players that delve into a lot in the disaster management field. But the downstream of it can be used in many ways. They can repurpose the extraction into what one may consider to be refining. There could be incineration taking place as well. So those are different parts. But we are a little early in that to make those determinations, although they are debatable items that comes up every now and again in our briefings and our after action review.
Mr. Stewart, you were very guarded earlier on in terms of what you were able to say regarding the identification of the origin of the vessel. Is any legal options available once the owners of this vessel are identified and found?
Certainly. The structure of governance in these parts, as you know, there is a marine division in the Division of Works, in the Ministry of Works, and therefore a wreckage of that type is like the licensing authority. Any vessel operating in the space, in this case, the marine environment, the Marine Division has a responsibility, and therefore they are behind the scenes. All players are taking the necessary steps to identify the culprit in this case, to understand whether there is anything illicit about the whole operation. But based on what I could say to the to the public based on the findings or based on what was observed suggests. But it is not a time for speculation. We have gone past that now, and it's to bring proof based on the investigation, whether it is an assumption that you can treat it in a particular way. And therefore, this is where we are. So excuse my diplomacy as to how I handle those questions, because, it's going into investigation.
I fully understand. There are a pair of pictures being circulated on social media, and I just wanted some clarity. I see TTT Live Online has posted the pictures now with a different orientation to what I saw earlier on. One picture has the Scarborough coastline with the hydrocarbons on the coast, and the other picture has it cleaned up. TTT Online is posting the picture with the hydrocarbons against the coast as at Thursday, February 8th, and the other picture with clean coastline as at Tuesday, February 13th. Is that the accurate depiction of those two pictures?
I just run into a local cleanup worker from the local health authority who they were just thanking me and saying, Mr. Stewart, we couldn't handle it. They cleaned out the road like CPEP workers. And so let me answer your question in 2 words. At this point, that spirit has been returned, whereby we are seeing the vessels. There is a tourist boat in harbor. We are comfortable that when they walk off the shores, that they will see a clean beach at this stage. And I think we have done sufficient out at the hotspot in the marine area to prevent it from coming back into the port of Scarborough. So that picture that shows us with clean beach, the Rocky Bay being cleaned, is actually correct. As I said, social media is very unforgiving. You put something out there, it's out there. So it's a matter of getting status reports that explain or place us where we are in the theater of operation. So an old picture may send the wrong message. Some people here in Reef, they may just think about the Buku Reef. The Buku Reef is nowhere in this picture. And therefore, there's a lot of misinformation that is going out there. I know it's part of our rich communication plan that we have to do more, but I am using this opportunity to speak to these channels. And when I talk about the media, I'm speaking in the true sense of the word, the pluralization of it. And therefore, I engage you guys to do your investigation, and get the right story that represents where we are in the operation. And that's the reason why I spend all this time with you right now.
Mr. Stewart, if you had to put a figure to what has been expended thus far, what would you give it?
We are bordering into the million.
Okay.
I hope you appreciate my straightforward answer.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add in closing, Mr. Stewart, at this time? Mr. Stewart, is there any update that we may not have covered that you'd like to add at this time?
One of the things, localized traffic management becomes an issue. We're going to be doing what you call a recce at the areas that they were closure of some road places along the between Cemetery Street. Let me repeat that again. Cemetery Street in Lambo and Lambo Village Street. That area was closed off to vehicular traffic as a result of high tide conditions that was spilling water into the roadway that was consist of this hydrocarbon matters. We're going to revisit that this morning to see if there is a clearance. So we want motorists to be aware of those road closures. There is also a road closure in the area on the Milford Road in the Hampton area, from the Abattoir down to the Magdalena back entrance. That area is closed off as well, and therefore this morning we're going to revisit it to see whether or not, when there is a low tide, that we can have it reopened. So these are a little inconvenient, and with the cooperation of everyone, I think we will be able to nail this thing where it needs to be nailed. All right, so that's it from me. Have yourself a wonderful day, folks. I really need to get
Thank
with
you
the
so much,
operation
Mr.
here.
I appreciate your time and your
Thank you so much, Mr. Alan Stewart, for being with us on the Power Breakfast Show, giving us an update.
You're most welcome.
All right, from Tima. Thank you. Best.
Ooh, those were lots of words. Lots of words.
It's 7:45, and we'll open the phone lines now.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
take some of
Take
your
some
calls.
calls.
222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099.
Wendell Stephen.
I had to behave myself these days.
Wendell Stephen. Right.
A little testy sometimes there for some reason.
Lots of words.
I don't know. The reason that we called is because we want clarification. I don't think we were wasting time. Did you?
Well, we got vacation, but we got up first.
No, I don't think so. I think he was clear on some things, but some things he can't speak on clearly, you know.
All right, we do have some calls, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning, Paul, Richard, and
Good morning,
Wendell.
my dear.
Good morning, Miss Dabity.
Good morning.
I would like to congratulate all those persons involved in Carnival. I am not a Carnival person. Again, I go to the shows, but Carnival Monday and Tuesday, I don't normally look at it on television because of those voluptuous women. Wow. But yes, I had to look because
Were you ever against voluptuous women?
they didn't have enough clothes. And I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we had the clothes for you.
I mean, I can't keep-
You are not primarily the target of the clothes or lack thereof.
Well, everything falling off, you see. Front falling off.
No, everything has fallen off, everything not there, but that's the choice. They can act dress how they want, you know.
Well, I said,
Long ago, you get charged for but cheeks outside, you know, that is standard wear. But cheeks outside is standard now, you know, standard.
I'm not condemning it over that. Say, well, I mean, where are these women
Freedom
really
of
weak?
choice and freedom of expression.
So because I mean, I've never seen that amount of, the full figure woman, in and around. Wow, that was a lot.
And you see that's the bias. So if you were skinny, you could have had the nakedness, but because you're full figured, you can't wait. You see how your bias?
No, but never see everything falling off, double up and double up now, Paul.
And some people like what's the word? Protein with a lot of extra on it. They don't like lean meat. They like meat with a lot of additives. There's nothing wrong with that.
They were happy how they were. They're happy.
That's right. They're expressing themselves in their fullness.
I mean, but I had
and
to
the
look
goodness thereof.
All right. Thank you, dear.
And Paul, you were very good. And Paul, let me tell you before, I know we don't have much time. Our next call about how TTT's coverage is doing all these shows they like to show. So I will do that for another day.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I met this. Oh, sorry.
Morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, sir.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
there's a guy from Grandy. I'm glad I catch you because I always like to call in at this time when I have my comments to make, especially when Dr. Paul Richards is there. Every year I have a pet peeve with respect to a particular show on Carnival. And that show I'm speaking about is the Marsh Grass. And my pet peeve is very simple, is the award of prizes towards the end. We thought that Carnival is the greatest show on earth. And I personally do not like to see you calling up winners on stage and you basically have nothing to present to them. I have a problem. Give them an imitation trophy. Give them what you did to Marshall and give them an oversized check on stage and so on. But we are in 2024 and we keep calling our winners on stage and just to wave to the crowd, basically. And I have a problem with that. And I know Dr. Paul Richards, he know about standards and discipline. And I have a real problem with that.
When you say winners, you mean all the finalists you're talking about or the actual top three?
No, I think I understand what he's saying. And he's absolutely right. Because NCC actually does a prize giving ceremony at a later time. They don't actually give you anything when you go up on stage. He's right about that.
Yeah, you basically have people coming on stage just to wave to the crowd. Give them an
Yes.
invitation trophy. Give them an oversized check, so to speak. Give them something, so at least they feel that they have something on stage, something tangible. But you cannot be
Yeah.
calling people on stage when you are calling up the winners. For what? Just to wave? I have a
Yeah.
problem with that. This has been going on for years.
We're gonna raise that with Gypsy next time. You're absolutely right about it, though.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
For
Good morning,
start,
Zena.
thank you, Richard. Listen, I first off I had a problem with the Calypsonians, right? I wasn't pleased with that judging. And I want to tell Wendell, I quite agree with him with that mafia. I looked for a while on TV yesterday before I left to go down to Port of Spain. And while I was where I walked around a bit, Trackweed Road and different areas and judging points, and listen to me. Oh God, it have a specific ban on all the breakaways, and I see the mafia at work with the road march. It was so obvious. It's a shame. You understand? I
Mhm.
think we had to change the idea of that road march. Something. It was too obvious. You understand?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. And I say Rootsman must be rolling in his grave. Soca Mafia.
Mm.
Apart from that, as I said, the carnival was very nice and clean, except for the little scrimmages we see on scrimmages on the WhatsApp, social media.
Fights, yeah,
Other
the
than that,
fights.
the carnival was great. Um, not as pretty as years gone by. And I think they need to introduce a prize for most orderly. And I will give that to Ronnie and Carol.
Mm. All
And,
right.
and
Mm.
everything was good. The coverage was nice. Paul, the only thing I have with TTT is that we don't have enough breakaways when you're having shows from the Savannah. You just focus on the stage all the time. I know long ago when they had the more experienced crew before TTT went down, it was just to show the crowd, show the stands, show appreciation of the performers, nothing. Just for chance I saw a glimpse and maybe the Savannah was empty. The Marsh Grand Night half empty because why we weren't even seeing anybody there other than who was on stage. And TTT, all they have to learn to do that now, that new crew they have there. Other
Yeah.
than that, everything else was good. Paul, you look good. You don't worry with them, and you look good enough for me in your short pants.
But
Um,
you put on the outfit, so you can't complain now.
and I think I love your presence when as the woman say you spill, you nearly make her spill the coffee. Well, I laugh so hard. But you can't stop the woman cheering so far and talk
And she
about
giving me
fun.
a whole bottle of condom and she had it in her insurance. She brave.
Oh God,
She need the condom more than me.
I love that too bad. Anyhow, we will hope to get there. I hope the bad leaders try to imitate, even if they weren't alive at that time. I know Richard would say yes, it's the gang, Syria gang. But
Let me tell you, Zina, on the TTT
sure,
coverage, because I had to work on several occasions for several years with the NCC and with Tuco and with Pan Trinbago on carnival coverage. Very often, the stakeholder organizations do not understand that a production for stage is not necessarily aligned with a production for television.
Mm.
And you have to understand a production for television is different to a production for stage. And you have to bring the two together in some way. Otherwise, one suffers at the expense of the other. What we see in the Super Bowl, for example, because we that's the standard we are accustomed to in international television, right? For example, a Super Bowl or Grammys. Our local audiences get very, very antsy if it's producer television because there are breaks for commercial breaks when nothing is happening on stage. or they have a hype man or a hype woman on stage, and we say we're coming back from that break, and it's produced for television, because television and online are obviously the bigger audiences, but we don't necessarily produce for television. And producing for television means, and this is the biggest issue that why our shows end up looking at on television, is you cannot have an effective production for television if you do not have a full technical rehearsal before the show actually goes live. And Richard would know that, because there are things you may plan that when you actually going through a technical rehearsal, you say, that is not working, we need to change this camera angle, particularly in the Queen's Park Savannah, where there are so many uprights obscuring the view of the camera sometimes. And you have to cater for a lack of an interesting backdrop, or crop the shots in a particular way so you don't see people running around the sides and stuff like that. And all those things can be worked out if you have a carnival center that is purpose built, as opposed to what we've evolved into, retrofitting the grandstand and the north stand to accommodate different types of shows. And you understand? And that is the reason it looks like that, because it's not that the television crew is not trying. It is a very difficult thing to try to amend the television broadcast for a live show.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. You know how it gives you the impression? Because we keep seeing the north stand in the backdrop. So you think, well, nobody is at that stand. We don't, for somebody who doesn't know, would know that you have a grandstand on that side and you're not seeing it when you see crowd response. I'll tell you something, Paul. I hear you, but long ago, that old TTT crew used to have a lot of cutaways. I call it cutaways. I don't
That's
know if
exactly it, Tim. And you're right. They should have had more cutaways of the audience.
No cutaways at all. And that is not good. I don't appreciate that. Anyhow, Richard, let me talk quickly. Hayden told you he saw me yesterday and he scolded me.
He scolded you for what?
Hayden.
I know, he scolded you for what?
Hello. Old people need to stay home.
Oh, I agree with Hayden there.
Oh God. Don't just laugh, yes? I said, well, what do he? And he busy going down the road, heading west. I don't know who said and called him. Busy on Transbeat Road. Going down. Old people need to stay home. And he gone with that. So I laugh. Oh my God. Anyhow, let somebody else call. Later.
All right. But it's time to go.
Old woman, we take it home.
Oh Lord, we take it home. Anyway,
I think it was a good carnival overall, all things considered. I think the first and foremost issue was the safety. And again, we commend the protective services, the police, the TT Defense Force, the SRPs, the fire services, the ambulance services, the Port-of-Spain City Corporation, San Fernando City Corporation, all the community carnivals, the artists in particular who worked weeks and years and months to put these shows together, these presentations together. I think we put on a good show for Trinidad and Tobago, and I mean, I think this one went in the right direction overall.
And I think we had some nice music, a lot of music that we didn't get the benefit of hearing often, but we had some really nice music. Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Patrice Roberts, Kerwin Dubois, they all had very nice tunes that didn't really get much airplay, but I heard them.
Kind of curtails some of the music.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, and I know something we have mentioned before. That whole issue of a purpose-built carnival center is something that needs to be really thought out and action, because it's not something new. It needs to be action.
Yeah.
Just like the rapid rail needs to be action.
If we think that carnival and the creative sector is going to be a significant contributor to GDP, and it is and it can, because it's infinite, it could never end like oil and gas. We need, just like we did with Point Lisas, to put the infrastructure in place to maximize it. That's it.
Yep. And somehow in your design, still keeping the vibe of what the legacy is of carnival, especially like that North Stand. I don't know how you're going to do it.
Well, the design I saw was a two-sided thing, like a grand and a north stand, but I built both amphitheater style with an opening dome on top, a dome that could open on top. was and backstage for either side. So it was purpose built for what we do now, but in a modern way to present it in a different way. So they could probably revisit that design, and because the late Patrick Manning had it all designed out and planned out. We had pictures and stuff of what it was going to look like and stuff, you know.
And if you're not going to use the note stand or one side, that you should be able to block it off in a particular way.
Yeah.
And so it's more proscenium. But, you know, but
all you have to do is drop down blinds from the front, you know. That's all they have to do. And put a big TNT Carnival on it. That's all they have to do. Then brain surgery. Drop down curtains with a big welcome TNT Carnival on it.
Yeah. Like a huge cyclorama.
Ain't that difficult.
But it's
all right.
Something that we need to action. We're doing this for too long.
50+
not
years.
Paying that attention to the kind of facilities that we require.
And it will not only be used for Carnival. It can be used for a number of shows and events. Exactly. Have a great day. Be safe. Happy Ash Wednesday and Valentine.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And remember to let go and let God. Bye-bye.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival Comedy Week is here. It starts tonight at Central Bank Auditorium. The Central Bank Auditorium box office opens from 12 noon today, so you can get your tickets. Tickets are available, of course, at all our usual outlets: Electronics in Arima, Creme Fresh, Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, Jubilee Rawi in Tunapuna, K-Squared Fashions in West Mall and Eastgate, as well as Shafley Auto Services, Rombox in St. James, Crosby's in St. James. Those are lots of our hotels, including Anthony's Florence and Val Park Shopping Plaza, just beneath the Val Park Chinese restaurant. Get your tickets early. It's on tonight. We start with Nikki Crosby, 50-ish, and Still Hot AF, the Carnival edition. You should not miss it. Trust me. I mean, Nikki is...
All right. Thanks, Richie Rich. All the best there. Got running news.
This is your news bulletin.